Good evening and welcome to Season 5 of the Invictus F1 Performance League. We are at the Sochi Autodrome tonight for the first pre-season race. The 18-turn, 5.8 kilometre, 3.6 mile length circuit will certainly prove challenging for all drivers tonight as we begin the new era of the Performance League. We do have some old familiar faces as well as some new faces, but as always, an old face with me in the commentary box is Malk. Good evening, Malk, and are you looking forward to Season 5 of the Performance League?
Hello, Craig. You know me, the maddest commentator ever, and I just can't wait for this Performance League. I just cannot believe it's 5 seasons. Where's the time gone, Craig? Where has the time gone? Although, it's just unbelievable. Here's a question for you, actually. Do you reckon we'll match what we had last season, where we had 11, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, 11 different winners in the Performance League? Do you think that could happen again, Craig?
It's going to be a big ask, and it's going to be tough considering we've actually dropped two grid slots to an 18-car grid. I would like to say yes, I really would, but I think it's going to be difficult. I think for me, I'm more focused on the exciting racing that we saw last season. It was certainly unpredictable, and we definitely saw some wonderful overtakes. They actually have been posted on the Invictus virtual overtaking Instagram page. Couldn't get it out there. So yeah, if you want to see the best overtakes from last season, please go along to the Invictus virtual overtakes Instagram page, and I hope that we can add some more to that this season as well, Mark.
Oh, I think there'll be some cracking times on that one, and I reckon there'll be some really good overtakes because it's just unbelievable moments. Will we see three in the beds loads this season of the three-way battle of each corner, or do you think it's going to be? Do you reckon it'll be close, or do you think it's going to be probably about a few drivers? I know it's hard to say now, but
I think it's going to be really spread out tonight. With the first pre-season race, we're actually using equal performance rather than realistic performance, and that's just to aid the admins for car allocations ahead of next week. So we do know that we've got very quick drivers in Stim and Rossi who actually have converted over to no assists, so they may not be as quick as we've become accustomed to. But we also have some very quick drivers in the form of Nick Thompson, Nicky, Betrayer, who's actually also converted to no assists, and of course the Boogster, who has recently joined the Performance League. So the grid might be a bit spread out, but we might see groups of drivers together, such as Giuseppe, Nick Thompson, and the Tories battling it out on track. So we're just waiting for the first cars to go into the hot lap, and it looks as if it could be Giuseppe in the Red Bull as he just comes through the final few corners, just coming through the final corner, turn 18 onto the pit straight, looking to charge down towards turn 2. And who are you expecting to see setting the early pace tonight, Mark?
for tonight, it's going to be tough because you haven't got like Delange or like the old drivers who Delange, like the back-to-back winner of the Performance League champion. So
Yeah, Delange certainly did the Rosberg, so he's actually won the championship and actually retired from the Performance League. So we do have a big miss of the challenging the title winner this season.
Definitely, and it's a big loss, but it'll be a new winner this season. I think Nick LJ Thompson will be the one to look out for. But obviously tonight, as you said, this is just to help the admins to make sure the car allocations is spot on, and try not to pick a car that's superior for their for the driver and stuff.
And
But
it's also a good way to actually get an early psychological advantage over your rivals, as the Boogster, new to the Performance League, sets the fastest opening lap at the moment, a 1:34.7, as Rossi runs wide at the exit of turn 4 as we come down the end of sector 1, and Mr. Stim, using no assists, on the provisional pole with a 1:34.5, followed by Giuseppe, who ran wide at turn 2, so currently in third, but that's certainly a time worth beating at the moment. That's not a time that will hold him in good stead. Fasconi back in the Ferrari in pre-season. Our current league admin of the Performance League sets a 1:36.8, followed by Nick Thompson, who takes P2 at the moment, with 1:34.6. So Nick Thompson looking very comfortable at the moment and very, very quick.
very, very quick. But Nicky, oh Jesus! Oh, Nicky thought he might get into pole, but he missed out by 2/10. I was going to say Nicky McLugby, who was on form in F2 last season. He's the one to watch out for as well. And Ross has just gone into 5th with a 1:35.4. Spud has just moved up to 7th with a 1:36.1 on Super Softs. I want to have your opinion, Craig, and I want your honest opinion. Do you think the old Softs is the good tyre to start? I know it's quicker, but do you think it's the best to start at Russia, or do you think the Super Softs, which Spud has gone for, is the wisest option?
I think that would depend on your overall pace. Certainly if you're one of the quickest drivers on the grid, then it makes sense to opt for the Ultras, getting a very good starting position on the grid and hopefully clearing your competitors behind. But drivers such as Sir Spud, who they're not going to light up the timing screen, so he's going to have to use any advantage that he can, and I think that's why Sir Spud has opted for the Super Softs, looking to go quicker in the race at the end.
Yeah.
So a reasonable strategic call there from Sir Spud. Oh, Vascoin must have stopped in the pit lane. The pit lane has actually been disqualified from the session. So not the best start of the season for Vascoin.
I'm speechless, Craig, to be honest, because we just did not even see what happened.
And it's definitely uncharacteristic.
Yeah, it's really uncharacteristic from Vasconia. I think he must have got stuck, or must have got. Well, I don't think he would have got stuck on the entrance anyway, but it may be an issue with the game. I don't know, but I can't really say. But at the minute, it's hard to say. But I think it's going to be tough tonight. But obviously, as I said, guys will be on equal performance, so that it's easy for, like, obviously for Fasco and Mike, the league admins of the performance league, to get obviously spot on and try and get to help with the others. I mean, who would excite you the most? I know from tonight, but who do you think will be your one to watch as well, Craig?
Just simply because I know that he's got absolutely blistering pace, is the Boogster, although he's currently sitting in 4th at the moment. I think we might actually see a season-long battle between the Boogster and Mr. Stim. So I'm really looking forward to that season-long battle, but just looking at Nicky's and Nick Thompson's time as well, it could actually be a 4-way battle, possibly 5-way battle as well with Rossi for the Drivers' Championship. So 4 or 5 drivers in with a strong possibility for securing the championship this season. Betrayer just locking up slightly going into turn 2, runs slightly wide. That'll compromise his exit going along into that long sweeping turn 3. Betrayer.
Sorry, carry on.
No, carry on, Mark, please. You were going to tell us about Jake Warrior.
Yeah, he's just doing his actual lapping now, Craig. He's just coming past the end of The DRS is coming up to the
Yeah, just
long.
coming round turn 3, the long sweeping left-hander. He did go out and track early on, but had bailed out of it, possibly making a mistake on the first attempt at the hot
Yeah.
lap.
I do apologise. What was you saying earlier, Craig? With Betrayer, was he doing a good lap?
Yeah, just slightly locked up, very new to the no assists. He certainly performed well last night in the Mercedes car in the no assist league, and that can only boost confidence as he attempts in no assists again tonight and Wednesday in the F3 league. So Betrayer trying everything that he can to build up experience with no assists, and he's just coming round turn 17, approaching turn 18 as he goes across the start finish line and goes up to 8th with a 1:36.2, a very reasonable time for a new no assist driver.
Definitely. Just watching Jake coming up to the last few corners now on turn 16, coming up to turn 17 now, passing the pit entry. Will he get a good lap? It looks like he might have to do another lap in because it's not quick enough. Yeah, his lap was invalidated. So it'd be interesting to see what time he would make. And he's only got 1 minute 40 left, Craig. So as things stand, Jake, McLugby, Mike have not done a lap, Craig. They have not done a lap. Mr. Stim, Nicky, and Nick, LJ Thompson, all the top 3 drivers tonight are already doing their lap in now. So I'm just watching Mr. Stim now coming up to the long turn 3. Now, I think a good first sector time must be about 33 seconds, or just about.
Yeah, I think you're aiming for low 34s. As Mr. Stim sets a 34.1. He did have a little bit of traffic in the form of Mercedes drivers or Spud, as he was just coming round turn 17 and 18, but Sir Spud just lifted off, giving himself some space, not wanting to get the dirty air, as Nicky's just coming round sector 2 at the moment in the Force India, but Mr. Stim still holding on to provisional pole as he just approaches the back straight along the second DRS zone, approaching turn 13. Can he turn that car in? He gets the McLaren turned in perfectly. Goes round turn 14. Allows the car to run wide. There's a little bit of a slide as he exits turn 14. I'm not sure if that's compromised his time. He certainly hasn't lifted out of it. Malk is continuing with his lap. Why not? With 14 seconds remaining till the checkered flag. Exiting turn 17, allowing the car to run wide onto the apex. Round turn 18 it does. So Mr. Stim, despite sliding the rear of the car at turn 13 and 14, it goes quicker by 0.3 of a second as Nicky comes round the final corner. He improves slightly by 0.2 of a second but remains in P2. Nick Thompson just rounding turn 18. Can he improve in P3? He puts it in pole with a 1:34 flat. So impressive, Nick Thompson in the Ferrari. But the Bookster on the hot lap in the Renault. He's just coming along the back straight, approaching turn 13. So can the Bookster take it from Nick Thompson? Can he take pole? Just comes round turn 13, has to get the car round to the right for turn 14.
Here we go. Turn 15. We're going to turn 16 now. He's doing it perfect on those corners. Will he get into turn 17? We get an extra exit here. It's a beautiful turn here. He's going to get it perfect. 31, 32, 33. Oh my God. Oh my God, that was close.
So we have the top 3 drivers with a 34 flat. Very close so far for qualifying, but Jake Warner in the McLaren just coming round turn 16 on the run down towards turn 17 and 18, the double right-hander on his return to the Performance League. And Jake's actually...
Oh my God!
Absolutely lightning time from Mr. Stim as he sets a 1:33.8, very mighty from Sir Stum, and I certainly think he's reserved himself a seat in the Sauber car for next week's Australian Grand Prix. So the qualifying classifications are: Mr. Stum in the McLaren takes pole with a 1:33.8. With a gap of 0.2 of a second is Nick Thompson. Third is the Bugster. Nicky takes fourth. Giuseppe fifth. McLugpy sixth. Rossi takes seventh. On his return to the Performance League, Jake Warrior takes eighth. Sir Spud in the Mercedes takes ninth. Betrayer takes 10th. Notorious will take 11th. Mike did not set a time, and Fasconi was disqualified from the qualifying session.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Craig. Do you think we're going to see that in the whole season of the Performance League again? With those close battles going on.
Well, I certainly think if it remains this close all throughout the race, then why not? Why won't we have this all season long? And I think this is actually going to be a straight sprint to the finish, with the Sochi being a one-stop strategy. It is very safe to go from the Ultras onto the Super Softs, and I don't expect to see anything different from tonight unless there's early front wing damage where drivers might opt to go for the soft.
Yeah, I think if he was in that position, Craig, do you think he would have gone for the soft tire, or do you think he would gamble and go for the Ultras and see how it goes at the back? I know, depending on the situation.
Yeah, I think it's quite hard to actually work that out unless you're actually in it. So, I mean, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens tonight. Certainly, the crossover from the Ultras onto the Supers is normally scheduled from lap 11 onwards, but last night, after early contact and damage from a front wing, I was able to pit on lap 8 and take the Supers to the end. So it's all about tyre management and how hard you're actually battling the competitors round about you. And we might actually see a four-way fight between Mr. Stim, Nick Thompson, the Bugster and Nicky. Bugster putting a little bit of pressure on Nick Thompson on the formation lap. He's sitting right on his gearbox. So a bit early on the mind games from the Bugster. They're certainly wanting his presence to be known as we just come round the formation lap. So a little bit of game playing from the Bugster there.
Oh, I bet you would have done the same, Craig.
Absolutely.
If you was in that position.
Absolutely. I think it was actually Squat City last night. I actually came right alongside him on the run down to turn 2 in the formation lap, just to let him know I was there.
Hello, you gonna see me? That's it. I think the Bookster, will he have his booster seat on? We'll see how it goes. But will Mr. Stim's just casually driving, try and get those tyres warmed up, and it's going to be very intense moments here, ladies and gentlemen. If you just joined us, thank you for joining, and hopefully we'll give you a cracking race tonight for the Performance League. If you just joined us, Mr. Stim, out of nowhere, did a 133.8. Oh, Rossi and McLugpy got disqualified from the session, so we have to see what's happened there. But
I think we will be enforcing the penalty, the 10-second penalty for contact on the formation lap, because it's all about allowing space between each driver. There's certainly no reason to make contact in the formation lap, so although it will be allowed in pre-season, it won't be penalised. Certainly in the official races it will be, and we will be requiring footage from both drivers to review the contact in the formation lap. So as we wait for all cars to form up on the grid slot and for the race director to get us underway for race 1 of the 5th season at Invictus Performance League, we have 5 red lights. We are go, it's Stim, lights up the rear tyres, gets a little bit of wheel spin, that allows Nick Thompson to come alongside in the Ferrari, but the Bugster in the Renault just tucks in behind the Ferrari. Oh, there's a Mercedes who's actually went off track. It's Sir Spud receiving thermal damage, and that's an early retirement from Sir Spud.
I just saw that, Craig. That was just I don't know what happened there, but I think that was the Renault of Notorious, I think. I'll have to watch the replay of it. But
Oh, Nicky goes down the inside of the Bookster at turn 3. He has the inside lines, it comes along into turn 4, but the Bookster has his nose ahead.
Oh my god. Rossi's moved up to 5th. But McLugby. Oh my god. Oh, the 2 Red Bulls. The 2 Red Bulls side by side.
2 Red Bulls side by side. And that's McLugby. McLugby will be on the outside. Oh, he does it. He gets his nose ahead of Giuseppe. So McLugby moving up to P6. Very respectful driving from Giuseppe, allowing that space.
Oh, Nick LJ Thompson, come in with it.
He has a little look on the inside at turn 13, but he just can't get closer enough. He can't get close enough to Mr. Stim, so Mr. Stim maintains P1 as the Bookster in the Renault, looking to seize any opportunity from contact between Mr. Stim and Nick Thompson.
Yeah, Craig, I do apologise, I couldn't get my words out but I just saw Nick close in on Mr. Stim. I thought he would have closed in on trying to do the banzai moment, but unfortunately didn't work out. But the Bookster, he's got some boost on his car in the Renault. Will he beat Nick LJ Thompson on the first DRS straight? No, he won't. Will he try? He's going to try and hold it there.
Yeah, we've lost the toe after Sir Spud retires and leaves the session, so we possibly have lost the toe due to one of the glitches in the game, and certainly we hope that does not restrict us from having spectacular races. The Bookster having a little look on the inside of Nick Thompson, going defensive very early from Nicky behind as we approach turn 4.
While you're watching that, Craig, Mike! Oh, what a move!
Yeah, he goes up the inside of the McLaren, and Jake Warrior leaves the door wide open, and I can tell you are really impressed with that one, Malk.
Oh, you betcha, sunshine! You betcha, Mike! Out of nowhere, I think Jake Warrior. Yeah, Jake Warrior's got a little bit of a front wing damage, Craig, from earlier. From I think it was from lap 1. Coming up to turns 14 and 15.
Giuseppe and the Red Bull trying to close down Rossi and the Williams as we go through turn 13. Rossi goes deep into the exit of turn 13. That allows Giuseppe to close down the gap as we come round turn 15 and 16, the off-camber part of the circuit. Mr. Stim beginning to open up the lead now by 9/10 of a second to Nick Thompson as the Bookster maintains his gap to Nick Thompson. The gap now half a second, 0.5, but Nicky 0.3 of a second behind the Bookster. DRS now in activation as we run down towards turn 2. The Bookster has a little look on the inside of Ferrari. That allows Nicky and the Force India to close down the gap right on the gearbox of the Renault of the Bookster as we come round that long sweeping left-hander at turn 3. Nicky just holding on to the gap from the Bookster, has a tighter entry into turn 4.
Oh my god, Craig! This is only lap 3! Oh, you beauty! Come on, we need some more! Oh, I'll tell you what, Craig, I'm still speechless with Mike's overtake on Jake Warrior. That was just absolutely epic. I don't know why, but that was just absolutely epic. And I can't stop saying epic, because I think Nicky might do the get on the Bookster. Will he have the booster on his car, or the boosts, or whatever you call it? But we'll have to wait and see if Nicky has it because of that toe glitch, shall we say, or the issue with the game. That's why we can't get closer stuff. But as you said, Mr. Stim's probably away about 1.5 seconds, Craig, from Nick LJ Thompson.
And the thing is as well, Malk, Nick Thompson's beginning to hold up drivers behind him in the form of the Bookster Nicky, and because of that, McLugby's actually getting in this action as well. The gap now 9/10 of a second between Nicky and McLugby, so this could be a possible 4 or 5 way battle for second place.
Well, we might have another battle here going on, but Rossi has lost a bit of his front wing. He might have had a collision with Giuseppe. I didn't see what happened, but he has lost a bit of his front wing, Craig. But it looked like we had another close battle. But Bookster, unbelievable. Will he get closer to Nick on turn 3? No, he won't. He'll try and get it to turn 4. Rossi's gone on the soft tyre, Craig. Rossi has gone on the soft
so
tyre.
Rossi looking to go to the end of the race after that early contact.
He's got nothing to lose, Craig. Tonight, he's just got nothing to lose. So I would have gone the same if it was me. I would have gone the same. But Betrayer and Pascone. Oh, mamma mia! Will he do it? Will Betrayer? He's got his favourite.
Nicky's actually all over the back of the Bigster, but because of the toe, we've lost the toe. He just cannot get close enough to the Bigster, and Nicky's DRS is actually being neutralised by the Bigster's DRS, which he's actually getting from Nick Thompson at the moment. So Nicky might actually have to get this done under the heavy braking zones into turn 2.
Will he risk it for a biscuit, Craig, in next lap? Or do you think he'll wait?
Well, I think he's actually going to have to take a chance, because Meg Lugby is just, although he's out with the DRS, a gap now 1.3 seconds. Nicky has to be aware that Meg Lugby is just hovering in the background, just waiting for any opportunity.
Perching. Is that the right word to say, like perching, or just
he's
pounce?
perching there like an Alonso, just waiting for any mistake from the drivers ahead, and it will allow him to move up and gain position. So Meg Lugby looking to play the long game.
Yeah. I just saw a little bit of there's a battle going on between Jake and Rossi. Rossi looked like he was going to go hit the wall then nearly, but Nicky, he's trying everything he can. Nick Aldridge Johnson is holding on for dear life for second place, Craig. As you said,
he's defending very well against some very quick drivers. So Nick Thompson looking very strong ahead of his Performance League season, as well as the F2 League season.
As was go down earlier, it was just an unlucky start for Spud. As we were saying about Spud in all the years, he's a great driver, and one season I think he should have won it, my personal opinion, but obviously I can't say from this race. But do you think Spud has got a chance in the season, or do you think it's going to be tough again?
I think that's going to come down to how quickly he can move on from tonight's poor start to the season. So as long as he gets his head down and just focuses on one race at a time, then he has every chance of putting himself within contention for the title.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll see how it goes, but hopefully this right. Obviously this.
Sorry, I jumped here, Mal, but the Bigster just going down the inside of Nick Thompson at turn 2. So the Bigster gets it done under braking, but Nick Thompson having to go defensive very early because Nicky is certainly on the charge, wanting to hunt down the Bigster. Had a little look down the inside at turn 4. Decides better of it and lifts off, allowing Nick Thompson to carry on down the track. So Nicky just holding position in 4th at the moment, but he'll be certainly sensing that there's an opportunity for an overtake. Nick Thompson with the DRS zone.
Oh, we've seen 2 great overtakes, Craig. Which one would you pick at the minute? And it's only lap 6 of the first race.
Just because of my own last night, I have to favour the braking contest going into turn 2.
Fair enough, fair dues. I would go for that one, but I'm still shocked with Mike's still. But the Bookster.
And what's also surprising, Malk, is that although the Bookster's overtaken Nick Thompson, he's not actually getting a good gap on him. So Nick Thompson's still within DRS range. The gap 0.6 of a second with Nicky within 0.4 of a second. So P2, 3 and 4 separated by 1 second at the moment.
Definitely. The Ultra Softs, Craig, how long do you think they last?
Well, certainly the window for the pit stop should come in at lap 11 to 14. So we've got a big window for the pit stop as Nicky is all over the back of Nick Thompson. Will he go round outside at that long sweep left hand?
Oh,
He goes alongside and gets it done under braking, but he's still alongside. He's still alongside the Ferrari of Nick Thompson. Who's going to brake late? Nicky has to just cut the corner to avoid contact, but both Ferrari and Force India still alongside as we approach sector 2. Nicky. Yeah, Nicky just cutting the apex slightly. So good wheel-to-wheel driving from Ferrari driver Nick Thompson and Force India driver Nicky as Rossi receives a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And Rossi does leave the session. So,
Nicky! Oh no! Oh, tournament! Unbelievable!
Yeah, great defending there from Nick Thompson in the Ferrari, but fantastic driving from Force India driver Nicky and Ferrari driver Nick Thompson, not making any contact. So great wheel-to-wheel action, but that's allowing the Bookster to start to open up the gap between himself and Nick Thompson. The gap now 3 seconds.
Oh my God. Our voices are going to be gone after tonight's race, Craig.
Well, I'll tell you what's exciting, Malk, that now that the Bookster's in clean air. And I have to interrupt myself there. As Nicky making a move on Nick Thompson.
Oh my God, Nicky! Nicky thought he lost it, but at turn 3. Oh, I'm sorry, Craig. I didn't mean to interrupt there, but this is an intense moment here.
We see a repeat from Nicky. Goes down the inside. Nick Thompson runs wide, almost loses the back. But Big Lugby looks to make a move on the Ferrari driver of Nick Thompson. So we could have a 3-way battle, but after that mistake from Nick Thompson, Nicky actually managed to secure P3. But what I was going to say before the action at turn 2 was now that the Bookster is in clear air, he's actually starting to reduce the gap between himself and Mr. Stim for the lead of the race.
Definitely. And we'll let you off, Craig, for interrupting yourself. A bit alright. As we're seeing, Meg Lugby has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, Craig, earlier, so that may compromise his penalty situation here with this battle for 3rd place. But if I was in Nick L.G. Thompson's shoes, I would pit now for...
Yeah, certainly. No, actually you can pit for the super softs and get them to the end of the race. But with the 3-way battle, it's going to be interesting to see who blinks first going for the possible undercut. So we could see a 3-way battle for the final podium slot at the moment as the Bookster continues to cut down the gap between himself and Mr. Stim. It's now reduced to 1.7 seconds from 2 seconds the lap prior.
I'm speechless. And we've only on lap 9, Craig. We're on lap 9, and it's followed on from last season of the battle.
Well, I will trump you from lap 9 and mention that we're actually on pre-season race 1. So if this is get anything to go by, we're going to be in for another fantastic season, Malk. I think we're going to be witnessing something spectacular this season.
Oh, yeah. I would agree with you on that one, Craig, because I do not believe what's just happening tonight. This is the lap 9 of the first pre-season race.
Yeah, and Mig Lugby still closing down Nick Thompson. The gap now down to 0.7 of a second. So Nick Thompson's possibly starting to struggle with tyre wear after that battle with Nicky. And Mig Lugby was just sitting back there, possibly fuel saving, and he could have fresher tyres compared to Nick Thompson. So it'll be interesting to see what happens the next 2 laps as we approach the tyre crossover window. It looks as if Nicky's actually pitting. So Nicky first. Yep, so Nicky and the Bookster both very early to react there. Bookster possibly looking to undercut Mr. Stim, and Nicky looking to preempt the undercut from Nick Thompson and Mig Lugby.
Oh, Nicky's going for the super softs. Same with the Bookster. Craig?
Yeah, that should get you to the end of the race. As I said, I did that last night in the no assist league, pitting on lap 8, opting for the super softs and actually getting safely to the end of the race.
Definitely. Obviously the super softs last about 20 laps, isn't it? Or am I
Yeah, certainly if you're
exaggerating?
very careful on your tyres and have got good tyre management, then certainly you can get them to last 17 laps to the end of the race. So Mr. Stim would
Definitely.
have actually saw that the Boogster slightly behind him has pitted, and with Mr. Stim not having anyone to battle, could actually look after his tyres a lot more successfully, and go longer in the race and having fresher super softs at the end, and that'll put him in a strong position, a strong defending position for those that may try and challenge him for the race lead.
Definitely. The top 7, Craig, have not pitted yet. The top 7 have not pitted yet. Bookster, Nicky, Jake, and Notorious have all pitted once. So the top 7 have not pitted yet. And is it a 25-second lap?
I think it's round about 24-25 seconds by the time you go into the pits to pit exit, as Nick Thompson comes into the pits. McLugby deciding to stay out on track. The gap between himself and Mr. Stim now 9 seconds. So Mr. Stim just coming round turn 2, the chicane at turn 2, maintaining the lead with 9.1 seconds now. Giuseppe now moves up to P3. Mike moves up to P4 on the super soft tyres, with Betrayer still to pit currently in P5, but the Boogster, who has pitted down in P6 at the moment, 3 seconds behind Betrayer, and he'll need to get this move done as soon as possible so that he can maximise the grip that he has on the super soft tyres, looking to get the undercut on Mr. Stim.
Well, as I said, the Bookster did overtake Nick Aldrin Thompson for that particular the pit entry battle, but his main one will be Mr. Stim. At the minute, he's 25.2 seconds. Oh, sorry, 25.5 now from Mr. Stim. So it's tough.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Mark, but the Boogsters just took a lightning amount of time out Betrayer, and he's actually over the back of him as he come down the back straight. So the Boogster should move up to P5 with DRS and assistance, and he does. So the Boogster back up to P5 with Mike ahead by 7.6 seconds. Yet to pit, of course. But Mike currently closing down Giuseppe, as Giuseppe now pits from the ultras. That'll be a crossover onto the supers, but it looks as if McLugby also has come into the pit, so the Red Bull garage will have to stack both Red Bull drivers. So Giuseppe's going to lose time here, and we'll see how quickly the crossover that the Red Bull mechanics can muster. And it looks as if Giuseppe didn't lose too much time.
Bookster, Mr. Stim coming out of the pits. Oh, the Bookster has undercut him. No, Stim. Stim. Oh,
yeah, Stim ran wide. He just outbroke himself trying to defend against the Boogster. So absolutely fantastic strategic call from Renault and the Boogster, undercutting Mr. Stim, moving up to net P1 as Mike's still to pit.
Yeah, I think he's the only one left to not have. Yeah, he's the only one. I reckon he'll be on lap 18 to 20. Would you say, Craig?
Yeah,
Mike?
I think you're right there, Malk. I think we might see it around about 16, 17, 18. But we're going to have a straight shootout for the race lead and race win, as Mr. Stim has DRS on the run down towards turn 13. The Boogster holding on to a 4/10 gap. Oh, Mr. Stim just lighting up the front tyres, couldn't get the car slowed down into turn 13. That allows the Boogster to open up the gap by 1 or 2 tenths.
Oh my god, this is intense moments here, but this is absolutely intense moments. Will Mr. Stim try and close in on the Boogster, who looks like he is pulling away slowly, but he will compromise his tyre wear at the end of the race because he did get about, was it 2 laps? Was it 1 lap or 2 laps ahead of Mr. Stim when he pitted?
I think that was actually 2 laps, but Nicky in the background down in P4 beginning to take out 2/10 of the lead between himself and Mr. Stim as well. So while the Boogster and Mr. Stim are battling on track, Nicky can actually close down the leading 2 drivers once Mike pits, and Nicky will be looking to seize any opportunity at the end of the race.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be some good battles here coming up, but looking at it, Mike will drop down to 8th, possibly, once he pits, if he stays like this. So
Yeah, but the thing is with Mike, he'll actually be on the quicker tyres, so he'll actually have the tyres to get him back up the grid, possibly challenging for 5th or 6th.
but he's got a couple of laps to, well, I say a couple, he's got about 8 laps. Depending on what he pits anyway, but just depending.
Mr. Stim getting closer to the Boogster under braking, locks the left and right front tyre up slightly, and that struggles with his turn in, and certainly that's vital down at turn 13 and 14. So the gap now down to 0.5 of a second as we come through the double right-hander at turns 17 and 18. The McLaren of Mr. Stim all over the back of the Renault of the Boogster as we begin the run down towards turn 1, going round the little kink at turn 1. DRS open for Mr. Stim and the McLaren. Can he get closer? Making a move under braking into turn 2. Has a little look, but he's too far back behind the Renault. So the Boogster still able to maintain the lead over Mr. Stim as we come round turn 3.
Still turn 3, but we're coming up to turn 4s now. Oh my God! Will Mr. Stim, Stimmy boy, will he do it?
Yeah, has a little look on inside. There's contact between the Renault and the McLaren. Mr. Stim lifts off, allowing the Boogster. Boogster gives a little wave and thank you for Mr. Stim just lifting off and giving him the place.
Yeah, while you're watching that, Craig, I just thought I'd go to Mr. Betrayer and Vasco. Vasco's knocked off 6/10 of Betrayer, but I might go back to Mr. Stim in a bit. Oh, this is intense moments here. Oh, fair play, fair play.
So Mr. Stim tucks in behind the Renault of the Boogster as we begin the run down towards turn 13 again. Mr. Stim, can he get through turn 13? Slight lock up again at the front tyres, but gets a better turn in at turn 13, goes deep in turn 14. That allows the Boogster to open up the gap slightly, but Stim has actually managed to close down the gap in previous laps, coming through 14, 15, 16 and 17. So it looks as if Mr. Stim's slightly stronger through this section of the track compared to the Boogster, but the gap between themselves and Mike is now 1.4 seconds, so Mike could come into play here with the Boogster getting DRS off of Mike's car as well.
He'll need to do everything he can. Meg Lundqvist got the fastest lap of 1:36.6. Pascal did overtake Betrayer, but I don't know if Betrayer made a mistake. Mr. Stim's got a 3-second time penalty, Craig. He has got a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, extended the track limits a few times in the previous laps, and certainly at the chicane he's picked up that 3-second penalty. So he's really driving the wheels off the McLaren, trying to retake that position from the Boogster, but the Boogster defending spectacularly well, and that is allowing Mike to maintain the lead by 1 second. But if the Boogster can close down Mike the next couple of laps, he will get DRS as well, which will neutralise Mr. Stim's DRS on the back straight.
Here we go, the first DRS straight on turns 10, 11 now, and then we've got the kick of the 12 in a bit. But
Yeah,
will Mr. Stim...
Mr. Stim had a little look on the inside, tucked back in for the toe, gets alongside the Renault of the Boogster, turn 13, the Boogster goes round the wide, turn 14 and retakes P2. So a great dogfight between the Boogster and Mr. Stim on lap 15. So Mike's opted to get out of the way of the Boogster, and Mr. Stim, and comes into the pits and should cross over to the ultra soft tyre.
He should be on the ultra soft, but will Mr. Stim close in on the Boogster? definitely got a booster at the back to try and boost him up to first place and hold it
Yeah,
on.
he's got a great run on him, Mark, and Mr. Stim looking to go round outside for the cutback. Oh, he's pulled it off. He's alongside the Bookster and the Renault coming round along, sweeping turn 3. The Bookster has his nose slightly ahead. Will Stim try and get under, braking into turn 4. He tries it, but the Bookster allows the car to have the pace to run round the outside of turn 4, maintaining the lead from Mr. Stim in P2.
Oh my God, Craig. Thank God this is pre-season. This is unbelievable. We need more. We're looking forward to this. I don't know what to say next. I just don't know what to say.
Well, after a 2-week break, the Performance League is certainly back with a bang. And the Bookster and Mr. Stim are certainly providing the fireworks on track at the Sochi Autodrome.
Oh, will he do it if he beats and kills it?
Again, Mr. Stim looking to go round the outside at turn 13, goes for the cutback, goes to the outside at turn 14, goes for the cutback, and at turn 14, that's right. No. Yeah, Mr. Stim underestimated the Bookster's exit speed, and there's damage on the front of the McLaren's wing.
He'll have to pit. He won't get close to Bookster.
Yeah, he's certainly going to struggle with understeering. He has to be wary of Nicky and the Force India beginning to close down the Bookster and Stim as they're continuing to battle on track.
Yeah, Nicky will close in on Mr. Stim. As I said, the interval leader, if Mr. Stim does pit, he will lose possibly about 6 places, 5-6 places, I think.
And after his pit stop, Mike came back out on track in P7, 5.5 seconds behind Giuseppe, but Mike is on the quicker tyre.
Do you reckon Mike will get up to possibly 5th? Or do you think
I think
fourth?
He could possibly get 6th, but with an 11-second gap between 6th and 5th, it's certainly going to be a tough ask with 10 laps remaining.
You never know, Craig, you never know in this Performance League. You just never know until the fat lady sings. And unfortunately, we haven't got that, so we've got more Performance Leagues coming up soon. We've got Mr. Stim closing in on the DRS straight.
And you've got Nicky right behind McLaren driver Mr. Stim as well. The gap 0.4 of a second, so Nicky has managed to close in the gap between the Bookster and Mr. Stim as they've continued their battle on track.
While Nicky was trying to close in on Mr. Stim, he has got a 3-second time penalty, Craig. So that will compromise his position as well, because both Nicky and Mr. Stim have at least got 1 penalties each. I don't know if they've got more, because we was trying to see if there was any other battles going on. But at the minute, the Bookster will be having some definitely champagne drinks later if he keeps this performance on, and he's pulling away slowly. But Nicky, he's closing in on Mr. Stim. Mr. Stim, I don't know what to say next. It's going to be like a song lyric next. But will Nicky? Oh, Mr. Stim got another 3-second time penalty, Craig. He has got another 3-second time penalty.
So possible advantage to Nicky. At the moment, if Nicky's only got a 3-second time penalty, he doesn't have to fight Mr. Stim to move up to P2 like we saw with Nicky and Betrayer last night. Nicky finishing P2, but after penalties were applied, that moved Betrayer as Mr. Stim runs wide. Loses the rear end of the car as he's actually trying to put power down, runs wide again. So Mr. Stim doing everything he can to continue the fight with the Bookster, but he's fighting against the lack of downforce as well. There's slight contact between the Force India as Nicky tried to look up the inside of Mr. Stim. Mr. Stim just closed the door.
Oh my God. Will Nicky's going to go try. Oh, it looked like he was going to go for the banzai moment.
Nicky just taking a conservative approach at the moment, Mark. He's just biding his time. He knows that there is 9 laps remaining of this first pre-season race, and he could just be using this time to size up Mr. Stim. I mean, he knows that tonight's race is just a practice. There's certainly no contributing points, I'll spit it out, to the championship. So he could just be using this opportunity to put Mr. Stim under a little bit of pressure to see how hard Mr. Stim will defend and any, repetitive defensive moves. So he could actually use this to build up a picture of how Mr. Stim drives that car.
Yeah, I'm looking at the fuel situation, Craig, from each car. Nicky has got little fuel than Mr. Stim, who's like the second closest to fuel, and then the Bookster that Booster, whatever you call it, that he's got a bit more fuel than the two drivers behind him. So, as I said, Bookster gain advantage and will probably win the first pre-season race if he can maintain his position. But Mr. Stim's closing in, despite that front wing damage, Craig.
Yeah, Mr. Stim doing a very good job with a lack of downforce, still maintaining that gap to the Bigster, who, as you had commented, Malk, has more fuel compared to Nicky and Mr. Stim in P2 and P3.
Oh, who's impressed you the most, Craig, after lap 19 of 27?
Certainly the Bigster. I didn't know that he was a very quick driver, and it's certainly not a bad way to introduce yourself to a league. But Mr. Stim holding on to that gap to the Bigster with front wing damage is certainly impressing me so far. But Nick Thompson also impressed me in qualifying, and that's a very impressive qualifying display ahead of tomorrow's F2 race. So there has been a few drivers impressing me for various reasons, and Betrayer still doing very well in his early career on the no assist, down in 9th. Holding on to an 8.8 second.
Sorry, Craig, I didn't mean to interrupt there. It looked like Nicky was going to try and go for the inside of Mr. Stim, but it didn't work out well there because Mr. Stim went out wide because of that front wing damage. Nicky thought he had the gap there, but he didn't take the opportunity.
Yeah, it looks as if there's a little bit of wheel contact between the McLaren and the Force India. Nicky, I think, just lifted off, just waiting for his time, and he will get an opportunity on the run down to turn 13. DRS in effect goes round the outside at turn 13. He's got his nose ahead of the McLaren. Oh, they're still wheel to wheel as they come round turn 14 as well, but Mr. Stim, I think, lifted off, trying to avoid any contact between the Force India and McLaren. I think Mr. Stim knew that he didn't have the turn in due to the lack of front end grip and opted to lift off.
Opted there, Craig, but it depends on how he can capitalise on this, but he will have DRS. Nicky has got less fuel.
So can Mr. Stim return the favour on the run down towards turn 2? He does have DRS. Nicky going defensive. Whoa! Mr. Stim looking to go round the outside, looking to get it done under braking. Oh, it's a fantastic overtaking move by Mr. Stim. Down at the chicane at turn 2, just goes right round the outside, controls the inside. Great driving.
Oh, fair play to Mr. Stim there. I was going to shout there, Craig, but I lost my voice. I thought I'd let you do that, Craig. Shouting, come on, you can do it. If you BNQ it, and Mr. Stim has overtook there. This is unbelievable, and I've gone mad. This is unbelievable. Nicky don't know what to do next. But will he try and close in on Mr. Stim? He hasn't got much fuel. Same with Mr. Stim. He hasn't got much fuel. But will the Bookster? Bookster's just like, well, I'll let you two have a battle on the direct. I'll extend that lead, Craig. Oof.
Yeah, well, we've seen Nicky do a repeat of the last lap on the run down to turn 13. He's slightly further back than he was in turn 20. Oh, a slight lock up with the tyres from Mr. Stim, but holds on to the lead over Nicky for second place at the moment. But while Mr. Stim and Nicky are battling, the Bookster opening up the gap now, 2.2 seconds. So what Mr. Stim was doing while Nicky and the Bookster were battling earlier on in the race, the Bookster certainly do it in reply to Mr. Stim and Nicky's battle at the moment on lap 22.
Yeah, I think McLuck has got another 3 second time penalty. As far as I know, he has got at least two penalties. So he will stay in 5th for now. But will Nicky? Oh, he thought he would have got the opportunity there, Craig, but he didn't take it. Again, he didn't take it.
Yeah, certainly not wanting to risk any contact at the chicane. So Nicky opting to stay conservative, looking to do the overtake later on. He could be waiting for the DRS on the back straight, but he'll be looking to get closer than he was in lap 21. He was just too far back to get the move done under braking at turn 13. So
No.
can he get closer in lap 22? There's a slight gap of 5/10 of a second as we just come through the final few corners before the turn onto the back straight with the second DRS zone. So can Nicky get closer? There's a little bit of a loss of traction in the rear wheels as he was trying to get the power down, so he's got the run on Mr. Stim. There's 3/10 of a gap. Oh, looks looks as if there's too much of a gap between himself and Mr. Stim, so Nicky will certainly have to get closer coming through the final few corners at turn 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Possibly try to get the move down on that run into turn 1. So
Yeah.
Nicky might have to take a risk as we approach the final few laps of this 27 lap race.
Yeah, while we're watching this battle, I mean, I'd like to say a big welcome. I know we said this late on, but Jake coming back into the Performance League. I know he's based in 10th place at the minute, Craig, but do you think he'll do well this season? I know we can't see him once.
I think it might take a few races just to get the old rust off and get back into the rhythm of online league racing. But we certainly know that Jake was definitely a competent driver and racer, and I'm sure he'll return back to that form.
Yeah, definitely. He's closing in on Betrayer though, Craig. He's closing in on Betrayer for 9th place. While we want to try and get back to the Nicky and Mr. Sims situation, but Jake Warrior, as I said, coming back into the Performance League, closing in on Betrayer, who is on the no assists.
Yeah, tried to take the wider entry into turn 16, looking to get the better exit compared to the Williams driver Betrayers, but he's just coming round onto the final turn 18, looking to get a run down on Betrayer into turn 2.
Yeah, while we're watching that, Nicky's closing on Mr. Steve on the second DRS straight. Oh, not enough. But Jake's closing on.
Oh yeah, Jake, it was a bit cautious there, but I think Betrayer lost sight of him for a moment, so Betrayer lifted off and allowed Jake Warrior to pass, not wanting to make any contact or hold him up any further.
No, I thought Betrayer was going to try and hold on for 9th there, Craig, but he's trying everything he can, and fair play to him for driving in no assists tonight.
Oh, Nicky, right on, sorry to interrupt you there, Mal, but Nicky right on the gearbox, and Mr. Stim coming round the kink at turn 1, breaks the toe, comes round out to on the outside. The force in there of Nicky round the outside of the McLaren. Oh, great driving from Mr. Stim. So great defending from Mr. Stim, just allowed the car to carry the pace round as Nicky, I think, lifted off slightly. Not sure where Mr. Stim was, so the battle intensifies. Nicky loses it on the exit of turn 4, but manages to regain control as he picks up a 3-second time penalty.
That will compromise his position again, Craig.
But I think that neutralises Mr. Stim's time penalty, so both Nicky and Mr. Stim holding on to 6 seconds worth of time penalties, and this is a straight fight now for who will take P2.
Here we go. Will we risk it for a biscuit? Will Nicky get second, Craig? Or do you think Mr. Steve will get it?
I certainly think that's a tough one to call. Both drivers have been driving spectacularly and have been giving us some great entertainment, and I don't know if I'm in a place to call it at the moment. But as we've been watching, I think Mr. Stim's going to take P2.
Okay.
But as we've been discussing that, Mike has closed down Giuseppe. The gap now 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, I think you was right earlier, Craig. I think possibly 6 is the best that Mike could do. What do you think of his performance tonight, Mike? While we're watching the battle for Nicky and Mr. Steve, do you think Mike will do well, or do you think it will be another tough season? for him?
I certainly think that he's got the experience and the form. He could have actually just been doing a bit of game playing tonight, because usually Mike's a lot quicker than the pace that he's been showing tonight. Possibly experienced a little bit of difficulty in the Mercedes car, or maybe a bit of strategic game playing in pre-season, who knows. But I certainly think that if he can maintain good form, then he's certainly in with a chance of maybe not winning the title, but certainly being in the top three. Maybe possibly second or third. But I think we could rank him as an outsider for the Drivers' Championship.
Okay, fair enough. As I said, Mike's a good driver, but Nicky!
Yeah,
oh,
Nicky
no!
Changing from the outside, going on the inside of turn 13, slight wheel bang between the McLaren and the Force India as Mr. Stim retakes P2. So some very aggressive defending from Mr. Stim there as he ran wide initially, tried to come back on the track, and slight contact between the Force India and the McLaren.
Yeah, I think Mr. Stim's holding on. We're on to lap 26, Craig, of 27 of the first pre-season race, and I'll tell you what, it has been a cracker.
Yes, yeah, it certainly has, but time is running out for Nicky if he wants to take P2, as Giuseppe receives a 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cut warnings.
Oh, that means if Mike has not got any penalties, he's guaranteed 6 already.
Yeah, I think Mike will prefer to get that done on track though.
Would you do that, Craig?
Yeah, I would do it on track.
Fair enough. I knew you would say that.
There is nothing sweeter than an overtake.
It'd be like Alonso with his deck chair for driving
chill time. But Nick Thompson's actually beginning to close down the gap between himself, Nicky, and Mr. Stim. The gap's reduced now to 2.4 seconds. So maybe a last ditch effort from Nick Thompson to seize the last podium slot. But if Nick Thompson has not got any penalties, he can actually jump both Stim and Nicky.
I think he'll jump Nicky, but I don't think he'll. I don't know. I think sorry, you are right, Craig. He might jump into second if he can hold on to try and close it. But you are right. He's closing it.
He's taken 0.4 of a second out of Nicky and Mr. Stim the last few corners. So Nick Thompson looking very strong at the end of the race.
Nick's there. Oh, Nicky, Mr. Stim, side by side on turn.
Yeah, it's all or nothing now. Oh, Mr. Stim broke. It was a late breaking competition, and Nicky and Mr. Stim just challenged each other to see how late they could break. But that allows Nick Thompson to actually close down Nicky the gap now 1 second. So Nicky and Mr. Stim both compromising each other's race in relation to Nick Thompson as both cars battle it out on track.
Oh my God, Craig. Well, what is going to happen tonight? It's just going to be absolutely intense moments here. But at the minute, Nick will guarantee second place if he hasn't got any penalties, which I don't think he has. Oh, he's got a 5-second stop-go penalty, Craig, because he went into the pits, because he put too much...
and that will be applied to the end of the race, because it usually gets applied on the second pit stop rather than the first. So Nick Thompson will still receive the 5-second stop-go penalty at the end of the race.
So this could mean Meg Lugby to get third?
Well, we're just coming round the final few corners. The Big Star does take the race win on his very first race of the Performance League. Nick Thompson does jump to P2, but as I say, that 5-second penalty should be applied after the race. Mr. Stim drops to third, Nicky takes fourth, McLugby takes fifth. Giuseppe just coming round turn 18 could take 7th after penalties are applied. It does so. Giuseppe drops to 7th, with Mike moving up to 6th. Fascoin just coming round turn 14 into turn 15. The off-camber part of the track round turn 16. So Fascoin should secure 8th, with Jake Warrior taking 9th and Betrayer finishing in 10th. So a very exciting battle between Mr. Stim and Nicky as we wait for the classifications to come on. We should see Nick Thompson drop down after that 5-second time penalty as applied.
It maybe has been applied, Craig. We don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. But looking at it, I might be wrong, but I'll have to double check. But it did. I'm sure he did get the 5-second. I do apologise if I get it wrong, but I'm sure he had the 5-second stop go when he came in during the pits, or it probably someone else. I don't know, but it might be. I might be wrong. I'll have to double check. But it's just absolutely fantastic moment for the Bookster, and fair play to him, Craig.
Absolutely, in his very first race, he takes the top step on the podium and secures the race win. But this looks to be very exciting in terms of the season ahead. Certainly close proximity for the Bookster and Mr. Stim, as well as Nicky as well. So we could have a three-way battle for the Drivers' Championship, and the final classifications for the race are: the Bookster does take the first race win of the season, although it is in pre-season. Nick Thompson provisionally takes P2 with Mr. Stim in P3 with Nicky in P4. McGlugpie takes P5. After penalties are applied, Mike moves up to 6th. P7, I believe. I can't remember. I think that might have been. I can't actually remember. But Fasconi takes 8th, Jake Warrior takes 9th, Betrayer takes 10th, and the rest of the grid actually retired from the race. So certainly promising things ahead for the Performance League, Mark.
It's just like an appetizer for for the league coming up, and what a cracker to watch it as well. There was a few incidents, obviously, but there was some cracking battles. I'm still shocked with Mike's battle and the Bookster and Mr. Stim's. Out of them, it's just unbelievable moments, and fair play to the Bookster and Nick, obviously provisional Nick, and Tim third. So fair play to them guys, and we'll see if they can hopefully get that big of a boost for next season. Do you think we will see more of that, Craig, or do you think it will be less battles going on next season? Well, this season, sorry.
No, I certainly think the battles will continue. I don't see why they would change for any reason, and we'll certainly discover whether that's going to be the case next week in Albert Park, Melbourne, when we do convert back over to the realistic performance cars. So hopefully tonight's race would have given the league admins some insight to where everybody else is in relation to pace, and we'll see how that plays out next week at Albert Park, as I said, for the second pre-season race next Tuesday.
Definitely. It's you just do not know what to expect, Craig, and fair play to the drivers tonight for a cracking race. But yeah, it's just absolutely intense moments. I mean, I was, as you said earlier, Craig, I think my driver of the day is the Bookster. His first ever pre-season, first ever race for Invictus and for the Performance League, and he's just won it, not comfortably, but obviously won it.
Yeah, they battled hard. They certainly utilised the undercut to overtake Mr. Stim, but it certainly wasn't easy in plain sailing from there. He had to fight hard. So definitely a good drive from the Bookster, but certainly let's not let's not discount
underestimate.
Mr. Stim because he did very well with front wing damage and the lack of
Yeah,
downforce in the race. So a good drive from Mr. Stim. Um, in tonight's race as well as Nicky, but very impressive from Nick Thompson as well, staying within touching distance from drivers who are a tier above him in the equal performance leagues. So very impressive from Nick Thompson, and I'm sure that will continue as the season progresses.
definitely, definitely. What's been your before we shoot off? What's been your driver? Sorry, your moment tonight of
Certainly the
the
strategic call
race?
from the Bigster just coming out just ahead of Mr. Stim after Stim's pit stop. So yeah, I always like a good strategic call.
Yeah, definitely. I know you would, Craig, because if I was battling out with you and I was just about to try and get ahead, this is the England versus Scottish battle, trying to get revenge on the Euros, like all those years ago and stuff. But fair dues. But obviously Gaza won't be there to try and do the flick over and stuff. But probably we're talking about football, not F1. But Craig will kill me after the commentary, so that's what's happened. But
Not at all,
um,
not at all. But,
um,
but I just want to thank everyone who took the time to join us for tonight's pre-season race. I know it's not any official league races, but certainly it's not been disappointing either. We hope that you all join us next week in Albert Park, Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix, the final pre-season race ahead of round one, which will be the Mexican Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time. So we hope that you stay with us for this season. We certainly had a cracker last season, and we hope that it's going to continue for season 5. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to Malk for joining me as always, and we shall see you next week in Australia.
thank you, Craig. And
Stay classy.